Harry Potter versus Twilight.
Out loud. Say it.
Vampire.
People have been debating which is the better series almost as long as both have existed. I'm Brent Hardinger, editor of the fantasy website thetorchonline.com, and on Saturday, March 21st, I came to the Central Branch of the Seattle Public Library to watch a student debate that set out to answer the question once and for all.
You gotta give me some answers.
The event was the brainchild of Bill Isley.
When we were talking to our tutors, they are so passionate about these two book series, and we wanted to do an event that celebrated that, and we just think it's so cool that so many people are excited about the series and want to talk about them.
Before we knew it, it was time to get down to business.
In a few moments, you will pass through these doors and join your classmates.
Now, obviously, these are two of the most popular series of the last several years, if not the last several decades. And we really wanted to talk about today how the two series compare to each other. They're both enormously popular, but which one is actually better fiction?
The rules of the debate were simple. A question was asked by a panel of judges, both teams got a chance to respond, and the first team got a chance to offer a rebuttal.
So tell us about prejudice in the series and what sort of reflections or solutions they offer on society.
And then we see that, oh, there's prejudice. That's something we can relate to. And that's going to happen throughout, good fantasy books. And this is why Twilight is a great fantasy book.
And because of this, there's a lot of prejudice between the houses, Slytherin versus Gryffindor and all of that. But in the end, what really brings down the evil side is that the prejudices are set aside and people learn to work together.
A great fantasy series needs a great villain. Tell me why your villain or villains are the best.
Alright, so Voldemort is really an amazing villain. You get his whole backstory, and he is a character who develops throughout the series, just like Harry and the others do. And you understand why he's not capable of love anymore. You understand exactly what has made him bad. And you almost feel sorry for him in a way, and that makes him a very real villain.
The villain was very persistent. Victoria went all the way through the trouble to create these vampire babies just to kill one person who killed their lover. And the Volturi's, they went out of their way to the very end. It came in the last plot of the story to, finally get Belle, do all their villainous things.
After a while, things began heating up, especially when we came to the subject of the book's portrayal of women.
Let's talk about women. The women of Harry Potter and Twilight. So I'd like each team to discuss how women were portrayed in your series and what did you like about how women are portrayed in your series. Thanks.
Bella, you can relate to her. You probably have friends out there that's just like Bella and you just want to smack her. You're just like, gosh, Bella, really?
So, I'm sorry, but I don't think Bella is strong at all. Okay, so at the beginning of the book, she has more than just her boyfriend. She has her friends, she has her family. But by the end of the series, all she has is her boyfriend, basically. She relies on males. And when Edward left her in the second book, there was nothing she could do. She just moped around for the longest time.
Harry Potter portrays, on the other hand, a wide variety of strong female characters. Hermione, probably the main female character. Hermione is brilliant. She suffers from prejudice from being above board, but she rises to this. She is so loyal to Harry throughout the series. She knows exactly what she's doing. She is just one of the strongest female characters you might ever read about. Bella has low self-esteem. She depends on the male characters in the book, and she kind of portrays the stereotypical weak, dependent girl, and that is not an image we want to be putting in our teenagers' minds.
Team Potter's impassioned argument provoked a refreshingly honest response from Team Twilight.
I do admit, that was really good. Even though Bella was weak, she still had Esme and Alice to make up for it. Alice was strong, she always knew what to do, and she was so calm about the way she did it.
And Bella is, Bella's not the strongest person in the book. We obviously see that. She has a boyfriend, boasts about her boyfriend, but the thing is that, the fact that Bella is put in there, that sends the message to us that if we don't want to be like Bella, then we can choose not to mope over, high school breakup.
We want you to tell the judges and the audience why the books
that you're talking about deserve such popularity?
So, Harry Potter, there's a lot of fantasy stories out there, a lot of really well-loved fantasy stories. Harry Potter, though, was really the first of its kind. It was a unique story. The plot line was not quite like anything that had ever been seen before. Unlike Twilight, which is a romance novel, I think we've all read that story before in some form or another.
I also think that Harry Potter appeals to all ages. Like, I wouldn't be very embarrassed to, I don't know, lend my Harry Potter to my little 6-year-old who might be starting, like my 6-year-old cousin who might be starting to read. Like, I might be a little wary if I'm trying to give her Twilight, but...
Also, the writing in Harry Potter is a lot more complex and a lot better, I think, than the writing in Twilight. In Twilight, if you're, say, 10 years old, you can probably read it and pull out more or less the same meaning as an adult or young adult who's reading it. But in Harry Potter, it's simple enough that someone who is that young can read it and understand, but adults and older teenagers love it because there are references and subtle humor that the younger kids don't get. And that's one of the things that makes it really fun to read.
It was time for the closing statements.
All the characters are built together really well, how, we can all singly relate to them. And the story has a reality to it, and that's why, one of the reasons why we all like it, is because we can obviously relate to that. But there's also a fantasy side of it, to where, we have all these vampires and supernaturals that create a moral value of responsibility. The book is, it's fast-paced. Once you look at the book, you can get immediately into it. Like, you feel like you are a person in for it, experience all those, all the events that the characters experience.
So one thing we haven't really gotten to address yet is the audience that the series appeals to. And Harry Potter appeals to a much larger audience. Twilight has a lot of romance elements, and it should almost be in the category of a romance novel, not a fantasy. And this really only appeals to girls. I know there are a few boys who read Twilight and like it. The writing in Harry Potter is so much more complex that it also appeals to adults. And so the result is the Harry Potter series appeals to all ages and both genders, whereas in Twilight it's really directed towards teenage girls. And we'd like to close with a quote from...
Then the judges calculated their scores and declared a winner.
Are you afraid?
No.
In the end, the guys were both great. We decided to go with Harry Potter.
The audience also voted, and the winner there too was Harry Potter by a landslide. So is the debate finally settled?
So this debate is going to rage forever. Everybody has their personal favorite. The most important thing is that we're debating books. And also that there's a lot of other really great books like this out there. And so it's not just Twilight and Harry Potter.
And no, I think this debate will continue forever all over the world.